You didn't find her in a home. You didn't find her in a shelter. You found her overseas, in the middle of nowhere, a place where stray dogs don't last long. They get skinny, they get sick, they catch distemper, they disappear.
Her having no one
And when you
else,
looked
no
at
other
her,
dogs
you
or
already
anything.
knew the truth. If you walked away, she probably wouldn't survive. Out there, she didn't have a pack, she didn't have other dogs, she didn't have anyone. Just a tiny body
there,
trying
little
to stay
guy.
alive, in a world that didn't
Come on
care.
over. Don't be scared.
And then, your captain said something that made your stomach drop. If no one takes her home, they're going to have to get rid of her. That was it. That was the deadline. And in that moment, you didn't hesitate, because you couldn't handle the idea of leaving her behind. Not like that, not after she had already made it this far. So you took her in, and at first, maybe it felt like something small, like a little distraction, but the truth is, it became bigger than that. Because when you're deployed, everything feels heavy. The distance, the silence, the stress, the constant edge of not knowing what's coming next. And somehow, this little puppy became an escape, a break from all of it, a reason to smile when you didn't feel like smiling, a reason to breathe. You'd look at her, and she wasn't thinking about war. She wasn't thinking about tomorrow. She wasn't thinking about whether you'd make it home. She was just happy. That's the only word that fit. She was happiness, and you didn't realize how much you needed that, until she was there.
Listen to me very carefully. Don't.
Then one day, you had to leave. You left for Syria, not knowing what would happen next, not knowing what you'd come back to, and you probably wondered if she would remember you, if she'd still be the same, if she'd even be there.
Move up, keep low. Let's go. Push forward. Keep the pressure on. Move up now. Don't let them regroup. Hard fought, gentlemen. Well done. Yeah, we made it, sir. Welcome home, gentlemen. Job well done.
Thank you, sir.
But when the time finally came, when you saw her again at the airport, everything hit you all at once. You couldn't believe it. She had grown, so much bigger than you remembered, and it was almost unreal, because the last time you saw her, she was just a little puppy trying to survive. Now she was standing there, alive, safe, healthy. And the second you got close, she didn't hesitate either. You hugged her. She licked your face. Her tail wagged like it couldn't stop. And it was like she was trying to tell you everything at once. Like she was saying, "You're really here. You came back."
Look at you.
You got so big, buddy. I missed you so much. Come on, buddy. I missed you too, but you gotta stop running. I can't keep up.
And then she did what she always did. She took off running, right through the airport. Like she couldn't hold all that excitement inside her body. And you just stood there laughing, trying to catch her. Trying not to cry at the same time, because in that moment, you realize something. This wasn't just a reunion. This was proof. Proof that she made it. And proof that you did too. You said it yourself. In the worst time of your life.
Look at you. You got so big. I'm so happy to see you, buddy.
When you were living with that constant edge, that constant tension, having an animal like her with you made a huge difference. She gave you something to hold on to. Something warm, something real, something that didn't feel like war. And that's why you couldn't leave her behind. Because if she could do that for you over there, then you wanted to repay her. You wanted to give her a life she deserved. A life where she would be loved. A life where she would never have to worry about food again. A life where she wouldn't have to wonder if she'd be cold tonight. Or if she'd be alone. You didn't just rescue a dog, you gave her a future. And in return, she gave you something you didn't even realize you were missing. Hope, comfort, a piece of home, in a place that felt like anything but. And now she's finally here. Not overseas, not in danger, not fighting to survive. She's home, with you, exactly where she was always meant to be.